Right, folks, we'll move on now to item number 7, and that is to consider the recommendation from the GSP committee. Can I have a proposer and a seconder, please?
For what?
For item number 7. You propose?
Yeah, happy to propose, and to move forward on an expectation that this will pass, that the letters go out very quickly, as in possibly today. Thank you.
Okay, can I have a seconder, please? Councillor Duffy.
Thank you, Mayor. And when this proposal came to the floor at the governance meeting last week, I was happy to propose it as well at that point. But I would like to just comment on the decision that we took in confidential and say that I am delighted that as a result of that, we will see the letters of comfort go out in terms of allowing people to move into their homes as quickly as possible. But we will also see moving forward the recreational space and the play parks and allotments that have been promised to the people of Ballinagard and for Culmore for a very, very long time. So happy with the outcome of today's meeting. We came to it in solution mode, and I feel that we're leaving today with a positive outcome. Unfortunately, it took time to get here, and it took a lot of distress to people who were waiting for confirmation that they could move into their homes. Caused a lot of stress, caused a lot of upset to people, but thankfully today we're going to be leaving this meeting with a positive outcome. So thank you, Mayor.
Councillor Tierney.
Thank you, Mayor, and thanks to officers for all of their responses from last Thursday right up until just a few minutes ago in relation to this paper. On a number of occasions, I've described it as a very complex paper, and I think everyone will agree that it was. So having the officers support to work our way through it has to be acknowledged, and we in the SDLP are genuinely thankful for that. I welcome the fact that the letters of comfort will now go, and that people who have been allocated a home will hopefully begin the process of moving in very, very shortly. I do have to say that it's regrettable that it has taken a special meeting of council to get this sorted out. I wish that we weren't in this position, but I suppose we are where we are, and we had to make decisions to get there. I think it's been a very insightful conversation, both in public business and in open business today and last Tuesday, in relation to some of the issues that have cropped up. I do think that there should be and there will be learnings from this whole process in terms of how we got there. But I think today's decision around the letters of comfort is something which I know will be welcomed by the residents who are waiting on clarification of when they'll get their keys. I also know as a representative of Ballyarnett that it'll be welcomed by the wider Culmore community in relation to the open space. I do have some concerns around the slow progress of the development of the open space, which has been, I suppose, cleared up by officers. But I do look forward, hopefully within the next 12 months, to seeing that project developed and hopefully around that time completed for the wider community. I think, you know, when we are stepping through this and as discussions go on around land, around this particular project, I think we need to be aware of those conversations and where they're going. I am very interested in the remaining plot of land and what transpires from negotiations or legal proceedings. And it's something that we will be keeping a very, very keen eye on. But we do welcome the progress made to date, and we thank the officers for their progress. Mayor, on Tuesday of last week and today, I had indicated that I was going to make a proposal around the task and finish group. And having the long discussions that we've had at both meetings and all of the detailed answers and papers from officers, I don't know what a task and finish group would achieve. I genuinely don't know what more officers could tell us. And if we're taking, which we certainly are, if we're taking what they're telling us at face value and in a progressive way, then I don't see the need for that particular proposal. I think all of the issues this far have been dealt with. I have no doubt that we may be back at this conversation, but I don't see pulling a task and finish group together next week or the week after what separate questions or what answers officers are going to be able to bring then that they haven't already brought today. So in relation to that proposal, Mayor, I don't see the merit on it any longer, and therefore will not be moving it. But again, on behalf of our group within the SDLP, we thank officers for their work this far, and we will look forward to the development of this open space and working to see the completion of all of the issues, contractual and legal issues that are going to play out over the next number of weeks and months. Thank you.
Three more indicated speakers, but just to make everybody aware that Philip is going to read out the letter of comfort before that's to be sent to the residents before the end of the meeting. So, sorry, I sent to Apex. Councillor Donnelly.
Chair, and look, I'm happy to support this because I think out of all the business that we discussed today, this is the most important. There's a lot of people watching on here now or waiting on the result of this meeting. I'm glad they're getting their letter of comfort. However, I'm very, very disappointed that it's conditional and that it's conditional on a huge additional spend from this council. I don't take at face value what officers have said. I never have taken face value, and I certainly won't take face value what was said here today. I asked a number of questions which were completely ignored and weren't dealt with. Other people asked questions, and I think the answers given were unsatisfactory. But I am glad that the letter of comfort is going to people and that they will move into their homes, hopefully, as a matter of urgency. I don't believe that we've got to the bottom of this, and I think that if we haven't got to the bottom of it, we won't learn from it, and this will come back again to bite this council. Thank you.
Councillor Harkin.
Thank you, Mayor. Yeah, look, I think the most important thing is that letters are going out today to people and families, letting them know that they're going to be able to move on their houses, and hopefully that happens this week. I commend again Councillor Donnelly for bringing the motion last week and everybody that came here, because I think it made a difference that the gallery was packed full of people who are desperately waiting to get into their houses. That kind of pressure makes a difference on elected officials or elected representatives. I also want to see the open space developed as the council has agreed, and that should happen as quickly as possible now. And like Councillor Donnelly and others, I'm concerned about the entire process here. There are lots of questions that remain not fully answered. I think the unauthorised taking of council land without a full council response is a very serious problem, and that is not resolved by what we've agreed here today. And I do think that there were some questions that are going to need to be addressed into the future. So, you know, I think the key thing was that we were coming here today primarily to issue the letters of comfort, and that was most people's understanding, and that's going to happen. But I think that I have concerns about what council has been doing and what we've accepted about about council land, and I think I am concerned about how some of this is going to develop into the future.
Alderman Hussey.
Thank you, Mayor. And similar to the immediate speakers before myself, there are concerns with regard to the curate's egg scenario that we're facing in this whole situation. I don't think anybody in this chamber would be dissatisfied that the letter of comfort will ensure that people can occupy houses. But there are questions behind that and very serious fiscal questions that are of real concern to myself and to the party. As the officers know, it has been welcomed, that the open space and play facilities or whatever will be included in this whole scenario. But as the officers know, there's a play board report sitting before this council indicating serious shortfalls throughout our council area, city and district, with regard to play. And here we are looking at one particular area, whereas there are concerns throughout the district. And that is my area of concern. Vis-a-vis, yes, people will be able to get into their houses, but if there is a financial commitment to something, whereas there are other requirements within the entire area, that is where the concern is. Thank you, Mayor.
Okay. So I think we had a proposer for item 7. Yeah, Councillor Duffy, if we can now ask Philip, first of all, did you want to read out the letter before we get a seconder, or should we just give us?
I think we should. Well, it was proposed by Councillor Gallagher, seconded by Councillor Duffy, so we're just reading out the letter for the vote. Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, thank you, members. So the correspondence will read. This has been forwarded to Apex already in draft to alert them to the issue. It says, as you're aware, there are restrictions on the occupation of the properties at Balnagard arising out of conditions 2 and 11 of planning application LA 11 2020 0689F. These relate to the delivery of the community elements of the project. Whilst these remain outstanding and it is possible that the occupation of some of the constructed houses may result in a breach of these conditions, the Council has today taken a decision to actively progress the community element of the project, and this is now fully funded. In a situation where the Council is actively progressing the development of the community element, whilst there may still be a technical planning breach, it is the view of Council's Legal Services Department that the enforcement of any such breach through the courts would not be expedient, and consequently, in the circumstances outlined, no such court action would be taken. Thank you.
Thank you, Philip. We'll go to a vote, or unless this proposal is unanimous. Abstain, right. We'll take a vote then, John.
Okay, thank you. Alderman Cook.
Abstain.
Alderman Guy. Alderman Hussey.
Abstain.
Alderman Carrigan. Alderman McMorris.
Abstain.
Alderman Wilkinson. Alderman Wilkinson. Councillor Jason Barr. Councillor Lillian Barr. Councillor Boggs.
For John.
Councillor Boyle.
For.
Councillor Cusack.
For.
Councillor Devine.
Ta.
Councillor Donnelly. Councillor Alex Duffy.
Ta.
Councillor Sandra Duffy.
Ta.
Councillor Farrell.
For.
Councillor Fleming.
Ta.
Councillor Gallagher.
For.
Councillor Harkin. Councillor Hart.
Ta.
Councillor Heaney. Councillor Hutton.
For.
Councillor Jackson. Councillor Leonard.
Ta.
Councillor Loeb.
For.
Councillor
Councillor Mooney, Councillor Murphy, Councillor Norris,
For.
Councillor O'Farrell,
Ta.
Councillor Riley, Councillor Tierney, Councillor Navis.
Ta.
Thank you. Mayor recorded 26 for, none against, and 4 abstentions. So the recommendation from the GSP committee is now endorsed and passed.
Thank you, members and officers. The meeting is now concluded.